Hello YouTube, what's up? Class 47 Peter here with another model railway review video. And today's video is going to be something a little bit different because it's going to be a double review where I'll be reviewing two models in one video. Now it's not very often I tend to do double reviews. The last double review video that I did was when I reviewed the Batman Pipe Wagon and the Batman Tube Wagon together in one video. So it's quite rare for me to do double review videos. But I thought I'd do it on this occasion because it's something different and it would certainly help me out with my video schedule. Because there are other videos I want to film and upload. Now in today's review we're going to be having a look at the Hattons Barclay 040, which I've been very much looking forward to and been very excited for since they were announced last year, along with the SECRP class models. And being this is a double review, I shall be looking at two models, two Barclays in this video. The models we have are H4-AB14-008, and this one is number 3 in the phenyline blue livery. And then we have this model, which is H4-AB14-006, and this one is Little Barford in the Acton Lane Power Station blue livery with wasp stripes. Now for this video, one of the models is going to be unboxed on screen, the other model is going to be unboxed off camera, and one of the models we're going to look at in great detail. The other model, what we're going to do is, because both models do have some differences, so the differences between both models shall be covered, but the one model we're going to look at in in-depth detail. The other one we will talk about some of its detail, because detail wise they are going to be pretty much the same, and then both models are going to be running around on the layout, and then they're both going to be put through the paces. So the model we're going to have a look at first is this one, number 3 in the phenyline blue livery. So we'll put Little Barford down to one side for the time being, and so we'll have a look at this model, which is number 3, as I've said. So first of all we'll get to the unboxing. So first of all we'll just take off the top of the box. It's a very nice firm sturdy packaging this, so it's not going to get torn apart or damaged or squashed. And it's a very nice designer box as well. And you've got a nice drawing there of the Barclay on the side. And on the ends here, you have the information telling you what model this is, but also you have an illustration of the model that we get inside, which is very nice. Now we'll take away this foam cover, and then we come on to the instruction manual. Sorry, the instruction manual, I should say rather. Do apologise for my stuttering there. So what we're going to have in here is going to be the stuff that we're all familiar with and used to seeing. Yep, it is. So it talks to you about fitting a DCC decoder and how to fit one. It talks to you about adding digital sound, fitting a locomotive crew and fitting the detail parts. You also get the warranty information and how to handle the model and the operating instructions. So I'll put that to one side and I'll put that in my folder later on where I keep all my instructions. And there we have the model. So I'll just remove the packaging from the box, which is held nice and snugly in place with all these pieces of foam inside. Then we'll remove the outer plastic sleeve, which is on quite tight. And then we have the bag of detail parts, which we'll all have a look at before we go on any further. So in the accessory bag we have We get 2 chain link couplings, and these are chain link couplings because they haven't got the screw link mechanism on them. And we have 2 brake pipes. So with the detail parts in the accessory bag now looked at, we can now finish the unboxing. And so we just lift the model out of the packaging, and then we'll put it to one side. And I will get rid of all this before we have a look at the model in detail. And now we'll just remove the cellophane sheet, and then we'll lift the model out, and then we can put this in the bin because I'm not going to really need it now. And so now we are free to have a look at the model in closer detail. So I'll take the camera off the tripod because we're not going to need it now. And so we'll get some close-up shots of it, as I always do, to have a look at the model in detail. So before we talk about the detail, I'm going to talk about the weight of the model. Essentially how heavy the model is. And it is a very heavy model, there's a lot of weight in this. And given it's a small loco, it's going to need all the weight it can have. I mean, I know I talked about the BT well tank being lightweight, but then again the BT well tank can still pull a fair load behind her. But then again the BTs in real life weren't that powerful anyway. The Andrew Barclays were quite powerful. And there still needs to be weight in the model anyway, so this model can pull trains. And there is a lot of weight in this model, so there'll be no problems there. Moving on to detail now, which we have sprung metal buffers, as you can see. So if you like your sprung buffers, then they'll keep you happy, that's fair enough. But I don't have much care for sprung buffers, if I'm honest. But they're there, and they're made of metal, which is nice. But what I also love about the buffers is that these parts here, which I'm pointing to, have actually been painted, and that's a really nice touch, because you don't get that little bit of painted detail there on the buffers with most of the manufacturers. That's quite nice to see that on the model. We also have NEM tension lock couplings, so you can replace them with a coupling of your own if you want to. We've got some rivets on the buffer beam, as well as the holes for the chain link couplings and the brake pipes are going to. And we also have the locomotive's running number, number 3, crisply printed on the buffer beam there, which is very nice. On the running board, we have some separately fitted detail parts here, as you can see, which look very nice. On the smoke box door, we have separately fitted smoke box door darts, as you can see. On the front of the cellar tanks, we have a separately fitted handrail and a separately fitted lamp iron. We've also got some nice separately fitted handrails going down the sides of the saddle tanks there. Of course on both sides, and I love that they're painted black, which really does make them stand out. We also have a nice chimney with some rivet detail on the bottom there, as you can see. We have the water filler cap with a separately fitted handrail on it, and the safety valves. We have glazing in the cab windows, and on the window rims, or trims I suppose you could call them, we have some rivets on them, and they are painted in a very nice brass colour, which looks really nice. On the running board we have a sandbox. We have the lubricating mechanism, and another sandbox at the back there, as you can see. And also under the cellar tanks they've replicated the boiler there, where we can see underneath. You can also see the wheels there as well, just behind the running board there, just where the springs are, which are separately fitted by the way, which looks stunning. We have footsteps on the front of the loco. We have some very nice rivet detail on the cylinder heads there, on the cylinders. We have some sanding gear, and just look at the link motion on the model. I can't wait to see that moving like it does on the real thing. And what I particularly love is that the wheels and the valve gear and the side rods, they've been painted red. and a beautiful shade of red at that. Moving on to the cab roof, which we have lots of rivet detail, a cab roof vent which doesn't open, it's moulded but it's there anyway, and a very nice turned brass whistle. On the cab sides we have some rivet detail and some separately fitted handrails, and we also have a builder's plate as well on the sides, crisply printed as well, and the detail on that is superb. And we also have painted cab interior, and just look at that, the gauges and the dials and the regulator, it's all painted and it looks just like the real thing. And the inside of the cab is painted as well, which is painted a very nice yellow colour. Just under the cab we have some more footsteps with some very nice rivet detail on them. Moving on to the rear of the cab now, which the formations of the window is different on this end. You have a round window in the middle, and on the ends of the cab you have these oval shaped windows with of course glazing in them, and the trims have been painted as well and rivet detail on them which looks superb. We have a separately fitted lamp iron, rivets on the back of the cab, and we also have this very nice separately fitted bit of detail here. On the rear buffer bin we have more rivet detail, and again the hole for the chain link coupling and brake pipe to go into. And on this end we don't have the locomotive's running number on. And again, just like the front of the loco, we have a tension lock and M coupling. And just like on the front of the loco, we have sprung metal buffers. Now we come on to the livery application, and the livery on this model is absolutely gorgeous. A very nice even shade of coat and the correct colour as well for the loco, and it's a beautiful light shade of blue. I mean, when I saw this model I went head over heels in love with it, because it's such a gorgeous livery, and blue also is my favourite colour as well, so I had to have a blue one, well in this case two of them. The shade of the blue, it's gorgeous, and also I do love the fine red lining on the model, which not only makes the livery stand out and pop out at you, but also it really lifts the livery in my opinion. And I do love that the handrails have been painted in black as well as the water filler cap and the safety valve there, which makes them stand out. And we also have the Fina logo crisply printed in the middle of the saddle tanks. And now we move on to the other side of the loco, which there's only one detail difference, and that is the lack of the lubricator mechanism on this side. But apart from that, the rest of the detail is the same. So with number 3 now looked at, we're now going to have a look at Little Barford. As I said earlier in the video, this model is going to be unboxed off camera, because the unboxing is going to be the same, and I've already unboxed number 3 on camera. So this model is going to be unboxed off camera, which I'll do so now. So Little Barford has been unboxed. Now there are differences with this model and number 3 in the Fina Line Blue livery, which we will look at these different detail differences now. The first difference is of course the livery. It is a blue livery, but it's a different shade of blue, it's a darker shade of blue. And of course the livery is obviously going to be different anyway. So that's the first most notable difference. Also this loco is named, whereas number 3 isn't. Now in real life this loco would have the name painted on the sides, but in model form that's going to be difficult, so obviously the name's been printed on the sides of the saddle tanks, which has been very nice and crisply done, and I do love the style of the font. Also this model is devoid of the lubricator mechanism on both sides, whereas number 3 on the one side has that lubricator mechanism. The handrails are also picked out in a different colour, they're not painted black, they are picked out in red. And that's not just the handrails on top of the saddle tanks, that's for the handrails as well on the sides of the cab, which looks very nice. The window trims are painted black rather than a bronze colour. The safety valve and the water filler cap is painted the same colour as the loco rather than being black as it is on number 3. Also, these detail parts here have also been painted. On number 3 they're left black, but on this model they're painted red. Now it's also worth mentioning that the window portals are different as well. On number 3 on both sides they're different. On the front of the cab on number 3 they're round, whereas on the rear of the cab there's one in the centre of the cab that's round and the 2 on the outside of the cab are oval shaped. In the case with this model, it only has 2 rear windows and both of them are the same shape as on the front, and there's no rear window portal. But the most notable difference this model has is what makes this model unique. This model has hazard warning stripes, or wasp stripes, whichever you choose to call them. Now normally with industrial steam locos the hazard warning stripes will be on the buffer beams, but not with this loco. And this is the same for the loco in real life. The hazard warning stripes are actually painted on the smoke box door and on the front of the saddle tanks. And on the rear of the loco, the hazard warning stripes are painted on the rear of the cab rather than on the buffer beams. Now, this makes this loco unique in real life and in model form, but also this loco is unique in my collection because it's the only steam loco I have that has hazard warning stripes. I have got a couple of diesels with the hazard warning stripes, the Class 09, the Class 14 and the Sentinel 4WDM, but this is the only steam loco I've got with hazard warning stripes, and for me that's what makes this loco different from all the other steam locos, and it's what sets this model apart from the other steamers I have. But apart from that though, detail wise it's the same. We have sprung buffers, NEM tension lock couplings, separately fitted smoke box door darts, separately fitted handrails, a turned metal brass whistle, and painted cab interior detail and glazing in the cab windows. These models really are stunning. One thing that is the same though is that this model has red wheels. Unlike on number 3, it's the same shade of red. And I do love the wheels being red because it makes the wheel stand out. So here are both my Andrew Barclays, side by side. And they really do look a fine sight together. So now that we've covered them in detail, we're now going to get the running round on the layout. Right, so you're joining me at the layout and we have a bit of a problem. Not with the models, but with the layout. This track here, this section, is not playing ball. There's a problem with this. And to show you, I've put one of my P classes on that track. Now the plan originally for this video was to get both models running on both lines, but this track isn't playing ball because of this joint here, which this joint for the past few days, this section of track has been playing up. And to show you, I'm going to get the model running. So when I turn the power on, okay, well there's power now, but before there was no power at all. And as you can just see now, the model's just stopped. When I put my finger down on the rails, particularly that joint there, the model starts running again. And it's only on that track. The other line doesn't do it. And again, look, there's nothing, but when I put my finger down on that joint, there's suddenly power. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Because before, I had a similar problem over there by the level crossing. But I managed to fix that problem, but now the problem's come down to here, at that joint. So for this video, my plan has gone out the window, so I'm going to have to resort to plan B. And I have tried several different locos, by the way, not just that one model. So what I'm going to do is, both models are going to be running on this line, but they're going to take it in turn. So for just running around by themselves, I'm going to get 4 shots of them each running on the line. And what I'm going to do is, because they both would have been pulling trains, I'm going to get them both pulling 2 trains. So basically 2 trains each. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate them, so I'll get 1 train out and the one model will pull it round the layout. And then I'll do the same for the other one. And then I'll get the other train out and I'll do the same for that one. So now we come on to the running performance of the Andrew Barclays. As you can see, out of the box they are smooth runners. But like all models, they will need running in. And there's no grinding noises or motors burning out or anything of the sort. It runs exactly how it should straight out of the box when we first get these models. It's just a shame that this track is playing up though, because I could have had both of them running together, but never mind. Now we come on to the loaded test run, and as you can see we've got number 3 here, pulling 12 of the wagons I have, with real coal in them. Now bear in mind it's not the full rake, which is 15, but you can manage 12 of those wagons plus a brake van. So there is quite a bit of weight in them wagons, but this still shows why the weight is important. And it's still quite a long train behind the loco as well. And so for the full rake to be shifted, it takes the 2 of them to do so. I'll tell you what though, those 2 together, they'll make a cracking pair. And now we've got the Andrew Barclays running round with the mineral wagons. Now this is the full rake, there's 15 wagons behind them. And as you can see, there's no problems with them here whatsoever managing them. Although to be fair, there isn't any real coal in these wagons, so they're less heavy. So overall then, the Hattons and Barclays are stunning models and I thoroughly recommend them. Hattons have done it again. They have made an all-round stunning model. And I fell in love with these little locos, I really have. So overall, I'm going to rate the Hattons Barclay 040s a 10 out of 10. This has been Class 47 Peter with a double review, reviewing both of these Hattons Barclays you see in front of you. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please still continue to support the channel, and don't ever stop doing so. Subscribe to the channel, check out my other content, and I'll see you again soon. But for now, over and out.